you've said openly what I am now saying, and I'm people who know me know I'm very careful before slapping salacious labels on things. But months ago I came out and said, look, this is a cover up. This is a cover up. The question I have, Senator, is what are we covering up? What are they covering? So in other words, you led off with this. Yeah. I talked about the file number classification. Yeah, it's pedophilia, it's child sex trafficking. But if that's, and that's bad enough, please don't get me wrong. But if that's it, get the names out. And yes, if Trump's involved, then yes, we should see that. But this goes back, Senator, to an old FBI office of mine. I was in the number 2 position at FBI Miami. Now I left, thank God, right before the case was opened on Epstein in Palm Beach. But where are the whistleblowing FBI agents, the whistleblowing AUSAs who saw their case crumble? And in my experience, the thing that keeps FBI, good, solid FBI agents from coming out and screaming cover up would be, well, there's classifications here. There's national security issues here. So my question to you is, what is your experience, your knowledge, and your gut tell you what is being covered up here?
Yeah, well, 3 quick points. The U.S. attorney who went so easy on Epstein in Florida in the first case has said that one of the reasons was that there was a national security angle to this that was way above his pay grade. So right. That flags the national security issue. With respect to the cover-up, which is perhaps the most botched cover-up in history, as well as being a cover-up, they're very narrow specifics. Like, for instance, there are 4 302s. You know what a 302 is better than anybody. Investigative, interview summaries that FBI agents write down after the fact. 4 of the same witness. Of those 4, 3 mentioned Donald Trump and contained accusations that he had sexually and physically assaulted the witness when she was a young teenager, about 14 years old. Of those 4, the only one that didn't mention Trump got released in the ordinary course. The other 3 disappeared based on analysis that they now say was mistaken, that they were somehow duplicative of something. Of course, they were not. So now those are all up. But there's another, I want to say 37 pages of documents. And you as an FBI agent will know that during an interview, the FBI agents take notes. And at the end of the interview and after talking to each other, and then they sit down and then they fill out the proper 302. There's every reason to believe that the missing pages are the actual notes taken by the FBI agents in the presence of this witness, who, by the way, was a witness so credible that that last interview was one in which they asked her to come back. Don't be frightened. Come. We need to hear more from you. Do come back. And so there's that. Why on earth did it just happen that the 3 that mentioned Trump were the ones that were wrongly withheld? And where are the FBI agent notes? Is that the other 37 pages? Those still have not been disclosed. So that's a narrow rifle shot right into a direct accusation at Trump. The broader thing is this question of, what if it really is Trump and Russia and Epstein all linked together? That opens it up a lot. And if that's the case, I think there's a ton of reasons why the MAGA Trump Department of Justice would want to cover up that whole notion.
Yeah, if anybody wants, first of all, I encourage everybody to read the transcript of the senator's speech and or check it out on YouTube. But for those who want a summary, the senator was kind enough to give us a kind of David Letterman top 10 list as to why we need answers on Epstein, Trump, and Russia. And he lays out 10 connections that are critical here. Talk about, of the top 10, what are the biggest ones? I mean, you focus initially on, for example, Trump's lack of care about what's happening in Ukraine. And you want to summarize some of those reasons?
Yeah, that's the worst of it. I think many people, Republicans and Democrats alike in the Senate, see that Ukraine's resistance to Putin's savage and unlawful and unjustified attack and his multiple war crimes is something to which the rest of the civilized world should be responding, should be sending help. Trump uniquely is taking the side of Putin. Also uniquely, he engages nonstop in dominance displays. In every meeting, he exhibits dominance. In every public relationship, he tries to show that he is the dominant one in the relationship. With one person and one person only, Trump is the submissive. And that one person is Vladimir Putin, which raises the question, why is he behaving so out of character? Why is he making these decisions that are so un-American in terms of leadership of the free world? Why is he seemingly so beholden to Putin? What does Putin have on him? And if that's what leads you back into the Epstein triangle, then this whole Epstein thing isn't just a question of salacious information. It's a question of a foreign power having compromat on the US president and being able to direct the activities of the United States of America through a compromised president. That is a really big deal. I don't know that anything like that has ever happened in our country before.
No, I'm a student. Obviously, I was the head of counterintelligence for the Bureau. I'm a student of the history of intelligence and the governments. And it's unprecedented. And look, let's add to that now. Maybe it's a top 11 list now. There's evidence that Russia is assisting Iran in targeting U.S. Interests, and the president and his spokesperson, when asked about this, absolutely dismiss it, which is disgraceful.
Yeah, no, we should take the Russians at their word. Nobody in their right mind takes the Russians at their word.
Yeah, precisely. And then, look, near and dear to my heart is what the FBI is not doing, and DOJ is not doing these days under this administration. And you mentioned it in your top 10 list. Number 8 is Pam Bondi taking office and announcing that she's dismantling programs that go after kleptocracy, oligarchs, foreign corrupt practices acts, foreign influence task forces, the National Crypto Criminal Center, all dismantled under Pam Bondi. What say you about the environment we're in right now that Trump's created with regard to Russia?
Well, there are two elements to this. One, Attorney General Bondi has basically turned off the burglar alarms that protect our national security from improper, illicit foreign influence. So that opens the door to more Russian influence of the kind that they've already shown in the last 2 elections that Trump won. They actually tried in the election that Biden won, but it didn't succeed. So there's that. And then if you sort of take back a step and look at where we are in the world, I very strongly believe that there's a clash of civilizations in the world right now, and it's rule of law versus crookedness, criminality, kleptocracy, autocracy, all of that. And what this does, what Trump's decisions do, is to help the enemy, the adversary, the kleptocrats, autocrats, and international criminals who conspire and work against the United States in that battle. He is giving aid and comfort to our sort of institutional adversaries by shutting down the tools that we use to make their lives miserable and to expose their crooked transactions.
Yeah. My 25 years in the Bureau concentrated heavily on Russian counterintel. And I can tell you they would have paid billions of dollars. The Russian government would have paid billions of dollars to create the environment we're in right now, where they essentially own an American president, whether he even realizes it or not. I don't. But he's done it for them at very low cost.